There's a real tendency in marathons to start off a little faster than you should to get a couple of minutes in the bank. So if you slow down at the end, you've got a little bit of a cushion for your time. Well, the reality is for every minute you start too fast, you lose 2 minutes at the end. In this case, I started too slow, and literally from 13 on, every single mile was faster than the previous mile. And I went faster and faster and faster and faster.
In fifth grade, I invented a game called Exercise Camp. I got up early, and I invited my sister and any of the neighborhood kids who would come with me to basically exercise all day. Jumping jacks. We did jumping jacks. Running up and down the hills. And then we'd take breaks and drink water and eat celery sticks. Transition.
And I can recount several stories where I was, physically done and couldn't maintain my pace or my training, and something would happen mentally. Several different stories there.
A lot of times at the end of the day when we'd be in the hotel, my mom would be doing different little kinds of movements like this, like arm circles, or like little aerobic moves in front of the TV, even though the TV would just be like a sitcom or something. And sometimes I'd walk into her bedroom at night and she'd wear these long flannel nightgowns like all the way to the ankle, and she'd be watching TV and doing sit-ups or doing leg lifts. And I went on a long train trip this year over the summer, and I got to the hotel and I turned on the TV and I was doing the exact same thing.
And then all of a sudden I was doing much, much better than I thought I could do. Psychologically, I told myself I was tired, but once I found a way around that, I realized there's still a lot of energy left, a lot of speed left. I know exactly where I am in terms of time. But the problem is you only slow down a little bit each year if you maintain your level of training. So if you continue doing the distance work and the speed work and the track work, you lose very, very little as you age. But once you give up that level of intensity, you can never get back to where you were.
I remember my locker that year, I had a newspaper clipping of Oprah Winfrey. She had just lost all that weight, and she was pulling a wagon of fat behind her.
And it happened by accident. 10 years ago, I was training for the Columbus Marathon, as I normally did in the fall, and I was building that stone wall out in the front yard.
One of my aerobic instructors told my mom that I was built like a brick shithouse. I remember leaving the gym and asking my mom what that meant, and she said, I was really built solidly, like really solid muscle. And I heard it as, you are solidly fat.
So for 2 consecutive weekends building that stone wall, I was, physically exhausted from that and missed my 2 Saturday training runs. So by the 3rd week, I thought, well, I've missed 2 runs already. I just won't run the Columbus Marathon this year. So since I wasn't running the Columbus Marathon, I didn't train as hard or didn't train as much. And since I didn't train as much, I wasn't as fast, or so spring came and I was out of shape. I thought, well, I didn't run this race or that race because I was out of shape, and that was the beginning of the slide down.
When I was 8 years old, I wrapped my arms around my dad and picked him up off the floor. I think he was proud of me. I was perceived as a strong child.